Okay, this one has the audio but not this extra scene. So let me bring in the new scene. I think that's where the problem is coming from. Mm, yeah. Now I've confirmed it, but I need to switch. Okay, let me try this. So that's audio. Then video setting. Okay, audio inputs. Okay, yes. So now it should be working fine. Let me swap these two things. Good, 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 good. All right. I guess it means that the introduction that I did wasn't captured. So welcome, welcome. Yesterday I started this stream. It's going to be a series where I publicly show how to come up with an idea and build it from start to end and launch the product. And we're going to do one product per week. So each week we come up with an idea, then we build it from start to finish. And yesterday was the very first one. I did a stream where I had no idea, just had to brain down and brainstorm on possible things that I could build. Eventually, we settled on building a French learning app. Reason being that I personally have been trying to learn French for a while now, and definitely can make use of something that teaches how to speak French in a way that I would appreciate the most. And most of the platforms out there do not necessarily meet that need for me. And even if it did, this is a way for me to just show how to build stuff if you came up with an idea. So I felt that that was a pretty cool idea to start with. And that's what we started. Where we stopped yesterday was the prototyping, where we went on to create the PRD. So if you see on my screen right now, yesterday we discussed a couple of these things, but we created the PRD, which is the product requirement document. Then we generated from this PRD, we generated a prompt and we gave that prompt to Claude Design. Then Claude Design started generating the prototype. That's where we stopped. The prototype it came up with was not necessarily what we or what I personally would love to use. In fact, everything was written in French and I could barely understand the things on there. So today we're going to take it from that angle where we are trying to refine our prototype and hopefully we get the prototype completed today so that starting tomorrow or even today, if we're able to get it done quickly, we will be able to start building the tool itself, right? Or the platform itself. Okay, so let me switch quickly to Claude Design. We see what it did for us. Claude.ai slash design. Okay, immersive French app. In fact, I unfortunately yesterday when I was trying to wrap up, I didn't really read through the prompts that we generated from Claude to before we started designing it, right? And I say that that is one of the problems because at the end of the day, we are not even sure what it's generating for us. But that's exactly what we requested. So this is what it looks like, what it generated for us, and you put your email and you start using it. But I bet if I had my way, we'll do more than just this. We'll have like a landing page, we'll have the sign in page or the authentication pages. Then we'll have more of a dashboard where everything is. Then we have some other pages. So I may want to prompt it to build us those pages. So here it says, let me quickly review what it did. I'll build this French immersion prototype. Let me start by laying out my plan and design system, then build it as an interactive React artifact. Okay. Warm off-white canvas, deep ink text. Oh, okay. Anyway, we've seen what it has, but there are a couple of problems. Everything, everything can't be in French because I am now trying to learn the language. That's one. And then two, we need a landing page plus authentication pages. Then a dashboard plus other relevant pages. Yeah, so that's how I would think about it if I was building this product myself. So let's prompt it that way to see what it comes up with. But I must say that I'm really impressed with what Cloud Design can do, because in as much as you can prompt it to do these changes, you can actually also make direct changes in here. The only problem I have is that if I want to make a direct change, actually, it's going to also make a call to Claude. That means I'm still using the credits. I'm still using my credit or tokens, which isn't as ideal as I wanted, because if I want to be able to make my own changes, then I don't want to use, like, I don't want to spend money in making the change. If I'm prompting it to make the change, then it makes sense for me to pay for that usage. Otherwise, I don't see why there is a point. I don't see the point in trying to make the change, editing directly, and it's still going to use some of my credits to do that. But so far so good. I mean, you can leave comments on it. I should have done that. When yesterday when we reviewed the product and we didn't like it, like if there's any parts that you don't like, you can actually click and leave a comment on that. And when you select the specific area to leave the comment, it will select that one, then send the feedback back to Claude so that you can actually select every single aspect that you don't like that you want to refine, and let it refine it for you. This means that you don't even need to be like really good as a designer, for as long as something feels off. And I guess maybe that is not so true, because if you're not a good no, now I'm even battling my own thoughts. If you're not a good designer, will you be able to tell when something is off? There's some people who they just have an eye for design, even though they themselves are not necessarily like design. Okay, let me try and fix this. I need to fix the other webcam. Oh, as soon as my hand touches it, I probably need some wireless connection when it comes to the Osmo Pocket, so that I'm not struggling with it. Okay, okay, okay. pocket and use the computer's own. Yeah, I'll use it like that for today at least. Use the computer's own camera, I guess. Okay, yeah. For as long as you can hear me, that's what is good. Says I rebuild the Chrome in English, keeping French strictly as the learning content, scenario phrases, transcript frames, what Camille says, adding a landing page, and expand the dashboard with progress plus scenario libraries plus settings. Okay, so I'm curious to see what it has. I don't even know if I like this color. Like there's no color. This doesn't seem like color to me. But let's see what it comes up with. All right. Let me go back to planning mode a bit and make sure that um, this okay. So our initial goal was we want an immersive product. Like when learning French, I want something that really involves me. That means that it's something where I jump in and can find an AI avatar. Let's see that an AI avatar to have a conversation with, because I feel that the fastest way to learn the language is having interaction with someone who already knows the language, right? Someone who speaks the language. It forces you to master the language faster. So I believe building something of that nature where there is an avatar that you can talk to would be really helpful. But this avatar needs to be adaptive, because if we assume that the person knows or understand what the avatar is saying, meanwhile there's a possibility that the user's level it doesn't match the level that the avatar is speaking at. So we need to have the avatar or these agents that we're building be adaptive. But I think adaptive. I think the problem is how will it be able to tell your level for it to be able to tone it down to your level or use scenarios that you would appreciate. And that's what we need to think about. So ideally when you are building a product, you want to think through all of these things before you start building. Nowadays I keep saying that it's so easy for us to overall something that we already coded and do it again, because the AI agents are doing the coding most of the time. But it's still a good idea if you can think through the product, think through what it needs to be before eventually deciding on what really goes into the product. So I think these two, like having an avatar that you're talking with and making it adaptive based on the user's French speaking capability or the level they are in their language learning, I think that would go a long way. So let's go and see. Okay, okay. It's not bad. On plan. All right. So present full screen. Let's see. Speak French like you mean it. I like that. Speak French like you mean it. 30 unhurried minutes a day with Camille. An AI conversationalist who only speaks French, listens carefully, and tells you after exactly where you tripped. Okay. Vous prenez votre café comment? Ah, talk, diagnose, return. All right. So adapt slowly. We do not adjust difficulty mid session. Sessions get harder week over week, not minute over minute. All right. Let me prompt it to say, okay, there are a couple of things. Well, we need to implement an AI. And remember, this is not coding, this is just the design part. So we need to implement an AI avatar that you speak with. So it is not just audio waves you see, but it feels like having a raw conversation with another person. Also, we need it to be adaptive to the user and possibly not speak French throughout, since okay, the user may be confused depending on their level of knowledge of the language. Right now, when I talk to my friends who speak French, they would translate some of the things to me midway, so I understand. Or anytime they said something that I couldn't understand, I could ask them the meaning, so I learn directly from them, from the conversation. Okay, so we want to model the real world immersive learning as much as possible and not create an impractical learning experience. Okay. Ideally, all these things should have come into my PRD, but it's okay. Once we figure out the UI, we may have to refine the PRD a bit. And it's easier to build from the UI when you figure out everything that you want to create. Camille avatar. It's interesting. I'm really curious to know whether it was the Claude design that came up with the name, or it was Claude that gave it a name based on our conversation earlier. This was the design prompt it gave. Unfortunately, I didn't read through yesterday, but this says use this prompt with Claude or any capable AI design tool to generate. You're designing a clickable prototype for a French immersion learning web app. The prototype will be used to lock US decisions before any code is written. Build it as a single self-contained React artifact with all screens navigable via internal state. No backend calls, all data is mocked. The app helps a single adult learner reach conversational French fluency through immersive AI-powered practice. The call loop user picks a scenario. User hosts a real-time voice conversation with an AI partner that speaks only French. Okay, so this is where we committed ourselves. Said only French. User ends the session. User optionally requests a diagnostic pass that returns pronunciation scores at uh, Then the product deliberately rejects the gamified, strict-driven, kid-friendly aesthetic of mainstream language apps. It treats the user as a sophisticated adult who is willing to be uncomfortable in order to progress. The diagnostic is on demand, not always on, because constant correction breaks immersion. Okay, so that was probably not the right way to put it. All right. So you realize that it actually didn't give it a name. So it was there was a sign-in screen here. There was a home scenario picker, pray session check, live session. So it means Claude Design actually came up with a name, which is pretty cool. I mean, I love that about Claude Design. So the live session screen now centers on Camille, a stylized SVG portrait with four expressive states: thinking at the start of each AI turn, eyes drift up, three dots near. I'm curious to see what it really looks like. So let's go full screen, sign in, say test email, test at gmail.com, say stimulate sign in, start a session. We'll choose one of these and continue, begin conversation. Ha ha ha. Ah, oh my goodness. Très bien. Avec. Oh, but this thing is very fast. Really fast. Says show English. Oh, yes, I'll have a croissant. Is it still warm? Sorry, what does emporter mean? Emporter mean. Oh, emporter means to take away. Opposite of. Oh, that would be cool. I love it. So this part doesn't really work because still showing anything. It says hover any French line for English. It just came out of the oven, eaten in or taken away. Interesting. Yeah, it would be so cool. I love it. Um, I don't like the avatar. If we can get like realistic 3D avatar, that would be great. And end session. That was a good conversation. Duration 38 minutes, 42 things. The frame was ordering at a cafe. Or then you can run transcript or view. Okay. Yeah. I think I love the idea, how it's handling it. I love that idea. Definitely. The one thing that the avatar I would have loved to see like a 3D human avatar that's close to for the avatar. Is there a way to get an actual 3D human avatar so it looks like a raw person having a conversation avec vous? Mhm. Think those and I feel like I want to change the colors. I also feel like we need to change the team. I don't really like the chosen colors. Let me see what it comes up with. Ooh. Yeah, so this is when Cloud Design asks you several questions so that you respond to it. And yesterday I was saying that one of the things that I like about it is the fact that it has this option of decide for me, so that when you're not sure about what you specifically want, then you can ask it to decide for you. So in this case, we have how real should the avatar look? Real 3D photo, real humans need a runtime that's ready player me meta human. Oh really? Hmm. All right, let's go with just any of these for now. What team do you want instead? Dark, cinematic, deep Navi, charcoal, warm accent feels like a video call at night. Ooh, a video call at night. Wait, did you say 10% off? Oh my. So my microphone seems to be going down. I need to swap. Oh, I thought. Okay, so I already changed the microphone. We are no longer using. All right. In that case, I can turn this off. Okay. Good, good, good. Bright modern, that's clean whites, vibrant accent colors like emerald or cobalt, Duolingo energy, but grown up. Warm Mediterranean, soft pastel, bold monochrome. Mm, what will I choose? Probably go with the dark cinematic deep navy. Yeah, let's go with that. Then maybe between these ones, I'll choose this. Female currents, Camille, male name. Ha ha ha. Let's do both. Should a live session feel like a video call? Yeah, that would be cool. Full video call vibes. Yeah. If it felt like you're talking to someone, I think that would be really cool. And that's one of the reasons why I like cloud design for prototyping things, because sometimes it offers you some options that you might not have even thought about. So definitely worth giving it a try. Type pairing, keep editorial serif. I mean, that one I would say decide for me. I don't really care about this. Then continue. So let's see what it cooks up. Vous prenez votre. Vous prenez. What does prenez even mean? Au café. Pick a scenario: cafe, work, meeting, news, debate, or freestyle. Camille opens. You respond. She follows. No translation on screen. No safety net. Interesting. Comprehensible input under mild pressure. Only French, always. Camille will not switch to English. I thought we decided against that. They need to fix. We need to fix the landing page. Diagnostic on demand. Analysis is post-hoc. Ooh. Okay. Hmm. Still cooking, but let's see what we have. Speak French like you mean it. I like that part. Speak French like you mean it. Speak French like you mean it. say test at gmail.com. Then simulate that. Today's conversation. Bonjour, bienvenue. Qu'est-ce que je vous sais? Okay. Hello, welcome. What can I get you? Bonjour, je voudrais un café à l'eau, s'il vous plaît. Hello, I would like a what's it? Long coffee. Interesting. Long coffee. Très bien. Avec ça, je vous propose une viennoiserie. Viennoiserie. Interesting. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I love how it is. At least the idea definitely works. Ooh. Okay. Mm, the landing page currently doesn't reflect oh currently doesn't reflect the new direction of the platform correctly since oh, we decided that it should be able to switch to English in between and explain things just like my friend would do if I was learning with it, right? Then I should also be able to switch to English to ask it questions, but it always should drive me towards questions, but it should always try driving me driving me towards speaking in French. So whatever it says in English, it will be cool to repeat it in French. Yep. Okay. Let's see. I feel that after this, I might use Cursor to start the coding part. Usually setting up the boilerplate code. There are some things that are just basic that are required in almost every product that you build. So usually if you're somebody who is building more products or you know that you're going to build multiple products, it is highly recommended that you use some form of boilerplate code. So for those who build SaaS or micro SaaS, usually they have like their SaaS boilerplate code. This is like some foundational code base that you always go and use whenever you want to create a new product. I, for one, have my own Next.js boilerplate code that I usually use if I'm building a new SaaS product. so that I don't have to worry about the installations, the packages that I require, the authentication piece, and things like that. Those are usually similar across the various products that you build. So it makes sense if you have already laid them out. For the purposes of this series that we're doing, at least for this very first week's product, I'm not going to use the boilerplate code. We'll start from scratch and let the AI help us build everything. But maybe along the line, I would start using the boilerplate code so that we can skip some of those things that you'd basically have to do. And there are a lot of these boilerplate code. In fact, some of them are for free, others are they come at a cost. Some come at a cost. The one that I use, I actually built it together with my team, and we've been using it to build several products. So it speeds up the process of building a product. So right now, you have that code base. As soon as you have an idea, you clone the repository, then you start working from it. Okay. Okay, so I want to believe that this is good to go now. Let's hope so. Camille is a bilingual friend who speaks French with you and slips into English to explain the bits you missed, then guides you to say it back in French. Yeah, I think I like that. Vous les prenez sous play ou à emporter. Wait, what does emporter mean? To take away, the opposite of suppla. How do you even say? Is it place? How is it pronounced in French? So you see, this is what I would be doing when I'm trying to learn, trying to figure out what exactly is it saying. Let me go full screen so you can see everything. What exactly is that? Right? Like when I'm learning with a friend, that's what I do. They say something and I don't understand it. I pause them and I ask them, what did you mean by this? Then they will take their time to explain it. So French first, English when you need it. Talk in French, pick a scenario, cafe, work meeting, news debate, or freestyle. Camille opens in French, just slightly above your level. You answer however you can. Then switch when stuck. Lost a word, ask in English. Camille flips into English, explains plainly the meaning, the context, the cultural why, then hands the 10 back to you in French. Say it back. Every English aside ends with a nudge. Try it now. Camille waits for you to repeat the phrase in French before the conversation moves on. That's where it sticks. Okay. Like learning with a friend, not a textbook. I like this. The friend who lived in Lyon for 6 years switches to English to explain Velan, then makes you order the coffee yourself. Camille works the same way. Bilingual on purpose, French by default. Yeah, at least now the plan is, I mean, the landing page I feel is in the right direction. It has one plan and it's charging in euros. Did I tell you that I'm based in, why? This is Paris, Brooklyn, Lisbon. Interesting. Who told you that that's where I live? I don't live there. The method. Okay. But so far, so good. I think this is cool. You can basically go ahead and do the coding if we want. And the thing about if you're building this with a team or in the industry, or this is like a startup product that you're building, usually you take time, especially when you do your prototype, you get feedback, you can test it with users, get feedback, refine the prototype before you continue to build. But we don't have that luxury here. So as soon as possible, we want the prototype done, then we start coding, and we're going to use AI to do the coding. So it is what it is. I think yesterday That's one thing I didn't like. Let's choose one of these and say start. It's detected. Okay, the microphone. I know that this is just simulated. Begin the conversation. What about change frame? Oh, okay, that would bring you here. Say casual small talk. Okay. Before we begin, Camille only speaks French. If you get stuck, say je ne sais pas. Comme dit ça, she will rephrase. So some parts of it is still misleading, and I can take a screenshot of this and pass it to Claude Design. Some part of it is still misleading, saying Camille speaks only French. Let's ensure that the message from the updated landing page goes through the entire app. So updates any other relevant part of the app. Okay. Oh, but I'm yet to see the avatar to find out what it came up with. Oh yeah. I'd find every place the old camel only speak French, immersion language appears and updates it to match the bilingual friend direction. Yep. I like the bilingual friend direction. I'm curious to see what the avatar looks like. Open the eyes. All right. Let me grab my phone and confirm the stream. Okay, you can see the stream is live on X. And I haven't even checked the YouTube stream. But all right, let's go. Let's go. Go. Let's go. At this point, the only final thing I'm curious about is how the air avatar looks. So we'll get straight to it. Oh, Spark. Let's start a session and go straight to one of them. So begin conversation. Couldn't load 3D avatar. Bonjour, je voudrais. Oh, it's the same thing that you keep saying. Okay. Oui, je vais prendre un croissant. Sorry, what does. No, it's the same thing. Same thing. Show English. But I love that. Like the feel that you are in some form of video call. It's so cool. All right. Slow down. Plus lentement. Parlez plus lentement. These are the few French words that I know. But I think that at this point we have something tangible that we can begin to work with. So what I would do is let's go to share, then download this as export as standalone HTML. The last time I exported it as a project zip. Let me see. Yeah, it has some things in here. So we can export as zip. Let's do that. Okay. Then now we'll go in here. Good. Then let me open a terminal from here. Am I able to? Okay. Search for cursor. Let's use cursor for this. Have so many other projects in cursor, but let's start a new agent. Then we'll find local, but we need to find the downloaded open folder. Let's go to the downloads and this particular folder. That is what we want. Okay, so would say that yes, definitely want to initialize repository. So click on this to initialize repository. Good. Then my first prompt would be ideally we would have to give it a PRD that we got. Let me intentionally prompt. I'm going to intentionally prompt. Ideally, this isn't something you do because you waste your credits, but I want it to, based on everything you know about the products we are building. Let me use cursor to do it. So I am thinking about, wait, think this would be cool. I'm thinking about building a French immersive learning app, and I tried to do a prototype with Claude design. So this directory that you are in right now contains all those details. There is an HTML component that illustrates everything that I have in mind. Essentially, it's supposed to be a product where it feels more like you're having conversation with a friend. You're trying to learn the new language, and this friend helps you learn irrespective of your level. What I want you to do right now is review the entire code, the HTML file, and any associated file that is in here, and get a very good understanding of what the vision is, and help us write a comprehensive product requirement document, a markdown file with all the details in it. For the tech stack, I'm thinking we use Next.js, the latest version. So let's use Next.js 16, the app router. Then for database, we can use PostgreSQL, use Prisma as ORM. Then for authentication, we can use Better Odds with Resend for emails. So we can implement Better Odds credentials sign in with Magic Link as well as an option. Yeah, if there are any other questions that you need answers to, just give me a list of all the questions, probably in the markdown, and I'll do my best to respond to them. Ooh, don't tell me that we lost it. No, 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 no. This is the first time I'm trying to use the audio version. Come on. Kesa, don't disappoint me. on. Why will you do that to me, Kesa? So now I have to type everything that I said. Oh my goodness. Uh, well, so I am trying to build. In fact, I can do this by using Google detection. Docs.new. I hope that helps. Come to tools and come to voice typing. Allow. I am trying to build a French immersive learning app. This app is supposed to serve like a friend who is helping you to learn the French language. It would be able to adapt to your level of understanding of the language and help you master the language. It speaks and forces you to speak in French as well, but it also understands when you do not know and helps translate most of the things to French so that you can pick up new vocabulary, repeat after it, and force you to learn through practice. I tried to build the prototype using Claude design, and the prototype is in the attached HTML file and any other file that you find in this directory. I want you to review everything that is in there and understand the entirety of the idea, then write out a comprehensive product requirement document that we are going to build from. For the technologies, we're going to use Next.js, the latest version of it, which is Next.js 16, the app router. Then for database, we're going to use Postgres with Prisma ORM. Then for authentication, we're going to use Better Auth with Resend for emails. And we would use the credentials and magic link in Better Auth. If there are any other questions that you have, feel free to ask me and I'll do my best to respond to it. Okay, so now I have typed what I want. Let's paste it here, then click proceed. One thing that I think now I admire about Kesa is I feel that it is becoming faster and faster by the day. Like, back then it wasn't so fast. In fact, with all the AI coding agents that I've used, I think so far the one that is really fast, it can be really fast on things that it knows, but sometimes can be slow, especially when it's something very complex that it's struggling to build. But if it is not struggling, is I think the fastest is Codex. Codex from OpenAI. So far, I think so. Cloud Code as well, if it is in auto mode, it tends to finish things fast. Like if you're using something like the dangerously skip permissions, it tends to finish things fast. But you are if you manually have to accept and grant permissions for it to work, it feels like it takes forever. Okay, so if you're discovering the stream midway, note that this is us building products from starts from ideation to production readiness and launching the product. and we're going to do this in just 1 week. 1 week. We started the first week product only yesterday, and we started off not knowing exactly what to build. We decided to come up with an idea. So during yesterday's live stream, came up with an idea. Then now we're working on the idea. So the goal is to we decided to create a prototype. Then based on the prototype, we're now going to build it. Okay. So it says that it has created the, let's look at files. Docs PRD. So this is the PRD that it has created. Immersive French Learning Companion. It's a voice first French practice product that behaves like a bilingual friend. The default language of every session is French, but learners can fall back to English for explanations, cultural context, or phrasing help. And the product systematically returns them to production in French, speaking, writing in the target phrase before the conversation advances. The companion adapts difficulty to the learner's level, forces active use of French during the session, and recognizes struggle, that's hesitation, explicit help requests, mixed language to translate and scaffold appropriately. After sessions, an optional diagnostic analysis analyzes pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary so progress is visible and tomorrow's session can pick up loose ends. This PRD synthesizes the existing HTML React prototype in this repository and extends it into implementable requirements. Okay, so this is the vision and product thesis. Okay, brand and tone. Goals and non-goals. Primary. Okay. So what I would do, I think there are a couple of things that we agreed on yesterday, which may be important regarding the use of the AI agent. So I may have to go back to the PRD that we wrote with Claude yesterday. Some might definitely miss the points because it was so focused on just the immersion. But let's go grab that. So the goal here would be the technological part. Previously, I had Claude write out a PRD for me, but a lot has changed based on the vision of the product. However, I still feel there still feel there are important elements that we can borrow from it, especially the AI components and technological implementations. Kindly review that PRD and take from it any relevant parts and update your PRD so we can have a final working PRD. Let's say so. Then I paste what I copied there and see if it's able to copy from it. Okay, okay, okay. Just 1 hour in already. I've actually been aiming to do 1 hour streams, then end after 1 hour, so that I would always have the energy to come back. Because I believe that if I exhaust myself so much and I don't wake up early the following day, I would have some carryover work and might not be interested in showing up every day. So I need to achieve as much as possible. In fact, today I was basically battling, spending time thinking about the products that we're going to work on versus doing every other thing that I have on my plate to be doing. And I had to advise myself that, yeah, I want to do all the thinking, all the planning and choices made on the stream. So when I'm not streaming, I don't want to be thinking about it, because otherwise it's going to start taking a lot more time that I want it to. And as soon as I feel that it's taking a lot more of my time, I might not be so interested in showing up and teaching or showing exactly what I'm building. I mean, I just have fun building these things. I think the thing that I enjoy the most is actually the problem solving part. Like, you can see that as I'm building this, it's more of thinking through it, thinking through it to understand, I mean, to solve problems. It's basically like building software, it's basically problem solving from one problem to the other. Then you go to the next one and you solve the next one, like that. So I enjoy solving problems. I enjoy troubleshooting problems. I enjoy thinking through problems. I want to be able to have that fun. Yep. Okay, so let's keep going. Now it has created the updated PRD. Seems to be a long document, but hey, let's see the summary. Carried over from your earlier PRD. The purpose, dog governs scope, out of scope. Okay. Then problem statements, recognition versus production, weak speaking feedback. Mm, not the minute of French produced per week. Principle, output first, feedback optional. Then SRS as plumbing, authentic interaction, mapped to bilingual camel. Okay. Real time stacks, Gemini Live, browser direct connection. Okay. Multi user products, Magic only plus single email allow list is optional beta only, not the product model. Better odds, credentials for Magic link. Okay. Mm, yep. Okay. Yeah. So at least now we have something and we can begin to build. We can begin to build because we have the UI. So I mean, we have the PRD. Once you have the PRD, the next thing we can do is, based on our final PRD. Oh, okay. Usually, what I will do is review the PRD and refine accordingly. Let's make sure it is ready to go. Especially if I have some ideas on how I want it, then I'll just let it do that. Because when it's writing, it doesn't always have the time to review everything that's writing. And I mean, this is normal. Even us as humans, when we write, we are usually we tend to say that the mind is running faster than the hands. So sometimes we skip certain things, right? And almost anytime when you ask it to review, it might end up catching something that needs to be addressed. So it's always a good approach to let it review, whatever it has written and give feedback. And especially if you know what you're looking for, it's great to prompt it in that direction for it to review that. Once it is done reviewing, the next thing would be for us to create a detailed implementation document. And that implementation document or roadmap would be what is going to now follow to build the actual product. So that's how you approach it. I mean, everyone has their own approach, but this is what works really well for me. After I have the PRD, a PRD is describing everything that the product requires, and it can be even more comprehensive than this. But I mean, this isn't too big of an app, so it's totally fine. Then we'll go ahead and create the implementation plan. And based on the implementation plan, we can now begin to write the code. Write some code. Cool, 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 cool. Okay. So you see that it's catching some things and making changes to it. So usually a good idea to try and let it review itself. So here's what we refined. Header table, version, requirement ID, split into purpose lineage, cross reference physics, the product scope, technical readiness, execution. Okay, so now go ahead and create a detailed implementation plan with tasks to be completed so we can start coding. Okay. So as soon as it does that, then we can start prompting it to start coding. Ooh. I I believe that it has become easy to build things, but it's still so helpful to know the fundamentals and have some foundational knowledge, because if you don't know any of these things, like I'm basically not even reading through everything right now. Ideally you'd want to read through everything, but even with that, if you have no knowledge of the thing, it'll be quite challenging for you to understand what it says. It's like you are at the mercy of what it suggests. And sometimes it doesn't even have updated information. Like the AI is probably suggesting something that isn't going to work. And you'd basically just be brute forcing your way until you find something that works. But maybe there is an optimal way or approach to use the thing. So that's why it's so important to at least know something about what you're doing. And if you watched yesterday's stream, you would understand what I mean when it comes to even the technology or the tech stack to go with the various technologies to use in building. Yesterday, it was making several recommendations, but then when I pushed back on it, we decided to go a different route. So that's still valuable for you to learn. Like you want to learn some of the bases And I am also an advocate for learning by doing. So there's also room for you to try building things and learn. Like, be curious about it. Or if he says this, what does that really mean? Let me figure it out. I mean, maybe that's the same approach I'm thinking about for speaking French. Like, dip me in the deep sea and let me figure out how to swim. Because I need to swim to save my life. If I don't know how to swim, which I don't actually know how to swim. So if I don't know how to swim, leave me in the deep sea. No, please, no, don't put me in the deep sea. But yeah, I mean, it's always helpful to learn by doing. Very, very helpful. Learn by doing. Okay. So it has created. Wait, created, but I can't find it. Where are you? Uh, it says created. Which docs then is it in? Interesting. So how come it's not here? It's anyway. Okay. So this is what it has created. The implementation plan. Phase zero, that's a bootstrap, repo tooling, EMV template, CI skeleton. Phase one is alt. Okay. Phase two is real time token. So to close up today, we'll do probably fix zero and hopefully fix phase one as well. Yep. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. How do you say start in French? Let's start. How do you say start in French? I don't even know. Start in French. Oh, how did I forget this? Commencer. J'ai commencé. Ooh, the pronunciation is definitely different. Commency. That was commency. 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 Comment? On. Si. Comment? 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 Si. Okay. But it's like commence to commence. Commency. Okay. Run. Scaffold this and run. Okay. This is what like the command that I saw there. I didn't even pay much attention, but something that you usually want to pay attention to. Let me see if it. Okay, yeah. When you see this command, remove hyphen R F. You want to double check it because it depends on the directory in which it's working. That command is like remove everything by force. Everything in this directory and within the subdirectories within this directory, remove it by force. So if you are not fortunate and you are doing this from, say, the root of your laptop, it's going to clear everything on it. So you have to be really, really careful when you are accepting commands like this. That's why most people recommend using some form of a sandbox. Also, for Cursor, for instance, Cursor has the web agents, which I have used in the past. I think I like using it. I usually end up exhausting my use. That's why. But yeah, if I open the web and go to Cursor, forgotten, yeah, is it cursor.ai slash agents? I hope so. Maybe not. Okay. Cursor web agents. No, definitely not it. So I went to the wrong site. So it's Kesa.com. Therefore, I believe it will be Kesa.com/agents. Kesa.com/agents. Okay. So it's same for me to I don't want to. Okay, let me do this. Come on. I don't want to show my login credentials. So let me hide it and try logging in. Home. I think my PC is becoming slower and slower. I have so many things running on it. Ooh. And it looks like the stream itself. Oh, page is unresponsive. Sorry guys, I'm trying to log in, but it's unresponsive. We have Cursor on the web. So you have Cursor agents on the web. You can basically use to build stuff if you wanted to. So no worries. I've closed it because it's slowing down my computer. So let's go back to I'm not seeing anything so far. I think something else might be happening because the whole computer has become slower than usual. But the good thing that I would highlight here is when we created the implementation plan with hacks, it means that we can track where we left off. So when it makes any changes, we can ask it to go and update the implementation plan so that we can keep track of where we've gotten to and proceed from there. The other good thing about it is now we're using Cursor, assuming that we run out of the tokens or credits that we have on Cursor and we want to use another product to continue the build. Because we have this implementation plan that we are tracking everything from, it will be easier for the others to also pick up and still have in mind where the product needs to be or what is next to be worked on. So it helps with that continuity. You also want to make sure that you have initialized a Git repository, and as you begin to code, you commit as often as possible. So you need to prompt the AI frequently to commit any updates that has been made, especially when something new is implemented and it's working, or even if you want to refine it, it's always a good idea to make a commit of all the changes that you are making in the code. But anytime you are taking a snapshot so that you track it, that is termed as committing. So you stage and commit. But since the AI is doing most of it for you, you can just basically tell the AI the can we commit and push the changes. So as often as possible, you want to prompt it to commit and push the changes. And at this point, it feels that my stream is lagging. I'm frozen on the PC. right, I hope I'm back on the stream. So, quite unfortunate that my machine froze and I had to restart the machine. But yeah, now we have gotten somewhere for today. We've already spent 1 hour 30 minutes here, so we can take a break from today and continue where we left off today. We'll continue tomorrow, same time tomorrow, and just a way of recap. Today we started off with prototyping, try to refine the prototype into what we really want it to be. Then we came up with a final PRD, which is a product requirement document that states in it all the requirements of the products that we're building. Then once we had the product requirement document, we went ahead to create the implementation plan. And the implementation plan basically lists out the details in terms of tasks for us to complete or build to achieve the product goal or everything that has been stipulated in the product requirement document. And tomorrow we're going to continue. We started with building the phase one, and unfortunately, the computer froze. So we're going to continue from there, continue from building our phase one, phase zero. Phase zero is where we started. So tomorrow we're going to continue from phase zero, and hopefully, we'll be able to build even more and have like the MVP that we can start testing by tomorrow. All right. So if you're excited about this and you want to keep up with the journey, I'm streaming to YouTube, Facebook, and X. So you can follow from any of these platforms wherever you find it. Then, if you have any ideas that you want us to experiment with, note that this is a continuous, at least for the next 1 month. That's what we're doing. Every week we come up with one idea and build it. I believe that there's going to be a week that I might not be available to stream. Yeah, I think second week of May I might not be available to stream because we are attending an event where we're going to be presenting our startup, and I don't think that I'd be able to stream that week, but we'll see. I'll communicate as and when the time comes. But yeah, every single day for the next couple of days, show up same time. It was 7 p.m. my time. That's 7 p.m. EST. And hopefully we will stick to doing 1 hour a day. Right now we've done 1 hour 32 minutes. So thank you all so much for joining in the stream. If you're watching it later, thank you for joining. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, ask a question via the comments, or review them, respond to them, and also during the stream, you can use the chats to ask questions. If you have any ideas or you want us to do anything, you can equally send me a DM depending on the platform you're on. Send me a message, and I would be happy to connect and chat with you. Thank you all so much and catch you tomorrow, God willing. Until then, bye bye for now. Bye bye. Bye bye. Let me look for. There's no music. Oh no, no music. All right. Okay. Bye bye for now.